Welcome to the Athlete Insights Podcast, hosted by Yash Padhye, a podcast focused on letting athletes tell their journeys in their sport. This podcast is presented by Boxed Water. Boxed Water is better.
Welcome into another episode of the Athlete Insights Podcast presented by Boxed Water. Boxed Water is better. Today, I've got my best Krikour Koustanian from the Northern Arizona University Lumberjacks football team. He's an offensive lineman for the Lumberjacks. So, Krikour, thanks for taking the time, man, and spending the time with me to talk about your football career and kind of your journey through football overall.
Of course, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so I did my research on you a little bit, and I've known you from Northern Colorado. I know you hail from
Yes, sir.
Syria, from Aleppo,
Yes, sir.
in Syria. And so kind of before we talk about your foray into football, I kind of want to get some background on you and kind of what sports and kind of your upbringing in Syria and kind of what sports and what you played when you were growing up out there.
Yeah, man. Growing up out there, obviously we're not really big into football. We weren't really into it. And then so I started off playing soccer a little bit, and then I got a little bigger and taller, just switched back to basketball.
Okay.
Pretty international sport. So I was pretty decent at it until I came here and noticed that I needed to improve my skills. But
Yeah.
over there I was mostly just playing basketball and
Okay.
soccer around here and there. But yeah, more focused on basketball growing up.
Basketball growing up. Okay. And talk about, when did you first get into football? Kind of talk about that experience and kind of what drew you. You said when you came here, you realized your basketball skills needed some refining. And that
Yeah.
So what kind of led you to football after you came to the States? And talk about kind of
I moved here to 2015. I moved to America in 2015, and then I tried playing basketball. I was just this bigger kid, I guess. I wasn't really a point guard or whatever, or a guard at this point. I was just playing center, and I was getting too tired, and it wasn't really my game at this point because I had stopped for a while due to war, being whatever. We weren't really had the opportunities. But yeah, when I came here, I was a bigger kid, and coaches wanted me to try, kind of like that story. See if you want to play football, you're that big kid.
Yeah.
And I was new to the country, so I felt like I had to get adapted in some way.
For sure.
And what's a better way than American football to get adapted to America?
Yeah, yeah. And talk about kind of those early years. You came in 2015, kind of your earliest foray, kind of your earliest memory of touching a football. You said you're big. You say you came here again. You said you're a big kid. Coaches wanted you to try football. Kind of talk about you came here. You were in high school, I'm assuming at the time.
Sophomore year of high school.
Sophomore year of high school is when you first started playing football. And so kind of talk about your high school experience. Because like you said, you were out of the country. This was kind of a new thing for you. And you mentioned how American football helped you transition into American culture and American life. So talk about that high school experience you had playing football.
Yeah, man. One of my earliest memories is just coaches wanted me to just come out there and watch football, just to see what it is, and see how I like it. And they just wanted to see what I think about it. I just remember that first summer getting on the field and seeing that I was able to, at least try to compete.
Yeah.
And without even knowing the game, I was able to move around.
For sure.
And I had decent footwork. I had some decent speed on me to play any lineman, I guess. And then one of my first memories is my first game. I got in. Didn't really do good, but I just felt good. Felt good putting hands on someone I didn't know. Felt good rushing someone, blocking someone.
Yeah.
So I just kind of just went on with that. And then high school football, I went to 3 different high schools in California, but
okay.
that's how I was learning, meeting new coaches, trying to learn the game as much as I could. Yeah, man, that's all I did for a few years. That's still all I do, just go to practice and work out.
Yeah.
I kind of fell in love with it from the beginning. Like the whole process of you have to train all around year to be good at 1 month or 2 months or whatever it is you're in season.
Yeah.
A few months, but you have to train all year and you have to have a good diet. You have to make sure you're on weight, you're hydrated. Just you got to prevent yourself getting hurt. And if you're not ready, someone else is. You're not working hard, someone else is, and they're ready to take your spot or go against you. So that kind of just drove me to try to be the best version of myself in football as I can be and as a person.
Hey folks, if you haven't heard, I've partnered with Boxed Water. Boxed water is better because it's made from 92% renewable material. It also comes in a variety of flavors such as grapefruit, cucumber, lemon, and their newest summer flavor, watermelon. So head on over to boxedwaterisbetter.com and grab some boxed water for yourself today. Now, let's get back to the episode. And I'm interested now that we're into the high school phase about because you started sophomore year of high school. I want to talk on and your adaptation into American football. I want to ask you about your recruiting process and I'm interested in kind of how your recruiting process went from high school into college. I know you went into JUCO at Pasadena City College. But talk about that recruiting process. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, man. I had some recruits in high school that came up to me, but since I moved to America sophomore year of high school, I didn't really know we needed NCAA qualification classes to get into four-year school. I
Yeah.
took my SATs late, so I wasn't really academically ready to be in a four-year, and that kind of it was a little setback and kind of just I thought that was gonna be it for me after high school. It was a kind of a setback. I was like, oh, I can't even get recruited.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of messed me up, but coach from my high school and coaches from Pasadena kind of talked to me back into going to football and that it looks like I have what it takes and I can work hard and play pretty good football, and I just kept going with it, and then I played 1 year at Pasadena, just gave it
Mm-hmm.
another shot to see if I can still perform at a high level or see if I can get better every down or in every play,
Yeah.
and I performed pretty decently. And got a few FCS offers after my first year. So my second year I redshirted, and then as you know, you met me at UNC
Yeah.
in 2020. I went to UNC
Yeah.
and had pretty good few years there.
Yeah.
A couple of years I played there, and then try to. That's about. And then I got re-recruited to Northern Arizona for my grad school. I just wanted to finish it up somewhere else, but in
Mm.
high school, man, I had a few schools. I wasn't qualified to go right out of high school, so I had to take the JUCO route.
Yeah. And you kind of touched on kind of your recruiting process from the high school level into JUCO and then from JUCO to UNC and then now from UNC to Northern Arizona.
Yes, sir.
As you might have seen some episodes that we've posted previously, I like to
Mhm.
like to get players' perspectives on kind of the differences that they've seen between the game at the high school level versus the collegiate level. And so you, like my previous guest, Christian De La
Mhm.
Cruz went the JUCO route, and so I wanted to get your perspective on kind of what have you noticed in terms of like the differences between the high school game versus JUCO versus now D1 FCS. What have you noticed as the differences between those three levels?
Yeah, high school, like most, I'm guessing Division 1 players wasn't the hardest. That's when you realize that you're able to be a little faster, stronger, better than other people. The
Yeah,
game is not as fast, and then JUCO just kind of adds like a year or two for football, but
yeah,
you're playing against grown people rather
yeah,
than high school. You're playing against high school kids, but JUCO you can be an 18-year-old playing with like a 27-year-old, or
yeah,
whatever the case may be. But the level, I mean, it is fast. I'm not saying it's not, but the
yeah,
level, of course, changes from high school to JUCO. And then going from JUCO to Division 1, that's when you notice how the sizes change. Everyone gets bigger. Everyone gets
yeah,
faster.
yeah.
Everyone is more focused on the details, your hand placement, your footwork, your
Mm-hmm.
timing, your time off the ball. It's just, basic coaching. Obviously, coaching changes, and you need to be able to focus on one position rather than in high school. You're playing wherever the coach tells you, be tackle, be a guard, be a D tackle, be a D end. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, mostly it's just the skills of the player, their speed, their strength, and their ability to make a play and higher IQs, I would say, and higher football IQs.
For sure, for sure. And as your position specific, you're an offensive lineman. So
Hmm.
specifically looking at your position here, what specific skills or techniques do you feel builds a successful offensive lineman or creates a successful
I mean,
lineman?
of course, all five of us, we're the position. We have five players on the field, and
Yeah.
we all have to be in sync. I mean,
Mhm.
football is the ultimate team sport. Everyone needs to be in sync to play. But
Yeah.
as an offensive lineman, if your O line is they can't make a call or they can't stay on the same pace or they don't know how to communicate with their teammates, it's just going to be your offense is not going to run as well. And I mean, yeah, being tight, being close with each other, and trusting each other, and
Yeah.
trusting in a man next to you that has put in the work and has lifted the weights, has ran, has been able to put himself in a situation where he's gonna be able to pick himself up when there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, just to be able to, I mean, football, it starts with us, right? We're the front line. We need
Yeah.
to set the tone, and an offensive lineman would just need to do that, I guess. If you're starting five, if they're not able to communicate and make sure all the calls are right,
Mm-hmm.
your offense is gonna have a bad game every time. So
For sure, for sure. And it's the in sync. I mean, it's like when you watch the Olympics, for example, synchronized divers, right? They have to be in sync and everything. The same way in football, every person, you're right, it is ultimate team sport because every person has to be doing their job
yep,
in order for the play to work. You know, if you miss a block here, you miss a block there, the play gets blown up. It's not it doesn't work. So
yep,
I totally agree with you that being in sync and like Bill Belichick, that's Bill Belichick's mantra with the Patriots, right? Do your job. So every
everyone needs to do
player
their
doing
job.
their job really determines the outcome of the play and determines the overall outcome success of the team. And I've been a big believer in being investing into the trenches or investing in the offensive and defensive line because that's where games are won and lost, right? You look at Georgia, you look at Alabama, you look at these top programs. The reason they're winning so many games is because they're recruiting high end offensive and defensive linemen. So I'm a big
Yep,
believer in the linemen in that process. So um,
so,
and you talked about as and your position specific offensive lineman position. What's you talked about your overall you weren't academically ready to go to a 4 year. That was one of the challenges you faced, one of the setbacks you faced. But speaking from
mhm.
an offensive lineman perspective, what's one challenge or setback that you faced while learning that offensive lineman position or playing that position? Kind of how did you overcome that process?
Well, for me was the just learning the game. At first, I didn't really know the rules, so I was just playing football, being physical, like in high school.
Yeah.
Just be as physical as you can, and put in effort, and coaches will like you or find you. But in college, it's not like that. You need to be able to remember your plays, not make a mistake. Sometimes remember what other people have to do so you can communicate and help out. And I mean, as has gone by, I've been way better. And like last year was barely to minimum but like sometimes you forget a play, you make a mistake. And I just took me a little, like my first year in JUCO was a little tough by learning plays and stuff. The
Mm.
playbook gets a little deeper, but in the Northern Colorado, I had great coaches. I had a great offensive line coach,
Yeah.
Coach Sean, and Coach Burns just helps you break down the film as much as possible to make it
Mm.
easier on yourself. And
Yeah.
I've had a lot of great coaches over the time, which make the playbook easier and make playing football just much more enjoyable rather than trying to be nervous and think what you're going to do every play. Just be confident out there and get the play done.
For sure, for sure. I mean, confidence is key. But in any sport, but in football specifically, you got to go out there, have faith
Oh yeah,
in the play and how the play is structured. And learning the playbook
okay.
is a key part of that, man. If you like, it's at the high school level, I've seen guys who don't really know the playbook or kind of skirt the playbook and it
You can tell the
shows on the
difference.
field. So learning that playbook and Coach Burns, I know Coach Burns as well. Great guy in terms of I used to always see him watching film in his office
Oh yeah, hours and
on
hours.
film. So I know he's a great guy in helping you guys out
Yes,
with
sir.
that overall. And so now you're at NAU. I want to kind of transition into kind of what your goals are and your future here. You're at NAU. Do you have what are your? I mean, obviously you guys want to win games. That's your ultimate goal for the
Oh yeah.
season. But do you have any numerical goals or individual goals?
I
Um,
mean, no, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself as I can be as a player.
For sure.
as a person. It's my
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
I want to end on a great note. Hopefully, try to get picked up or whatever it is. Have a good pro day and just
Yeah.
have a good season. You know, we all do this to be professionals as much as we can be.
Yeah.
And I try my best every day to, work hard and do whatever it's going to take for me to get there. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, those would be my individual. But mostly it's a team sport. You know, we want to
Yeah.
win. We want to put out the good results. And I've been the NAU past 7 months, and all we've been doing is working. I think we have a great team, great teammates, great coaches, great offense, great defense. I don't think we're lacking anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, main goal is to win games. But personally, hopefully, I can be able to keep playing football and to be able to take care of my family, then myself. So
Yeah.
that'll be awesome doing what I love to do.
For sure. For
And
sure.
just,
I
keep
hope
going
you
with it.
guys, I'll be watching. I
Hell
believe
yeah.
Northern Colorado plays you guys in
Yeah.
Flagstaff. So unfortunately I won't be able to see it in person, but
Man.
I'll be watching you guys and keeping a close eye on
Sounds
your
good, brother.
also. I wish you the best of luck there
Appreciate it.
into next season. And you just kind of hinted there, right? Your goal, your overall aspiration, which my assumption is fair to correct, is you want to play professionally, you want to play in the NFL. That's what the
Yes, sir.
dream is of every profession of a football player,
Mm-hmm.
usually. And so I asked this question to Christian. I asked this question to Joe. So I'll pose the same question out to you:
Let's
Is
hear it.
if if you had the choice or your choice of going to any NFL team, which NFL team do you think fits your game and your style, your playing style the most?
Well, I like think I'm pretty good at playing wide zone and
Okay.
SF plays a lot of wide zone. Baltimore has a great running game.
Yeah.
You mentioned Patriots, they always have a great offense, a great
Yeah.
synchronized team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest, man, wherever, but yeah, as city wise, I like to be on the coast, I guess, a little bit, or
Okay.
a little warmer areas because that's what I'm mostly used to. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have a specific team I would want to, but yeah, any team that I guess has a great running game. I mean, almost every team does in NFL at this point, but
Yeah. Yeah.
mostly some running quarterbacks would be great, just to
Yeah.
be able to have that triple option and
Yeah.
yeah, but that's about it.
You mentioned Baltimore. You got Lamar who just re-signed
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
So, that'd be a good spot. But yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah.
all those teams you mentioned are built off of great offensive line play. Again, I hint back. I love seeing offensive linemen because, like I said before, like great teams. The reason you have good teams is because teams that build around the offensive and defensive line. So,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
no, I definitely like the teams, and I definitely
Oh,
think those teams you would fit well.
I would hope so, man. I would do my best to try.
Yeah, yeah. So now we'll transition into kind of talked about your goals and kind of what your future is. We'll transition into a little bit of rapid fire questions and a little rapid fire segment. So
Cool.
anything, I'll ask a couple
Let's see.
questions just off the top of your head, whatever you think of, you can
Cool,
answer.
man.
Just have a little fun with it. So
All right, all right.
you're good to go.
Nope, let's hear it.
Okay. What's your favorite pregame song or favorite pregame style music that you listen to?
Man, I can always go to some classic rock, pump it up,
Okay.
or yeah, man, I can some Young Nudie, some Little Baby, but we
Hmm.
can go any type of way, or I can go with some old Armenian to get me motivated. Remember
Okay.
times back home.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a pretty diverse playlist pregame. So
Okay. And I know you guys have a strict diet when it comes to during season and in season, but
hmm
what's your favorite cheat day? Say it's a cheat day. What's your favorite meal on a cheat day?
man, I can always go for burgers, brother. So
Burgers.
down
Okay.
some
Anything
burgers,
specific?
steaks.
In and out? Anything specific?
I mean, yeah, if I'm in the West Coast, of course, I'm hitting in and out. Get me a couple double doubles, but
Yeah,
yeah, it depends what state we're in,
for
and
sure.
we can get it after the game.
For sure. And I know you're an offensive lineman, and we've talked a lot about the offensive line play. But if you could play any other position on the football field, you had your choice. What would you? What other outside of being an O line, what other position would you aspire to play?
Probably D lineman, to be honest.
Okay.
I try to learn most D lineman tendencies because I play O line. You got to learn
Yeah.
your enemy's tendencies and how to beat them. So I would think I would be a pretty good D lineman. Try
Okay.
to figure that position out, or maybe lose some weight, play some fullback or tight end, or yeah, whichever one. But those three would probably be my top three positions.
Okay. You're sticking with the line, and I love
Yeah,
that.
I have to, man. I need the
Yeah, stick with
contact.
the
So
line. I love that. Favorite
yeah.
favorite drill in practice.
Favorite drill in practice, man. Let's think about it.
Anything that sticks out?
Anything that sticks out to me. I just love running just a run game, to be honest. When we were on
Yeah.
inside zone period, just a run period. When you're going against the D line, there's no receivers. Everyone knows it's a run.
Hmm.
Offense knows it's a run. Defense knows it's a run.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just pop some pads and try to see who's who has some guts on the line and be able to open up some holes for the running back. So
Yeah. The run game. I mean, for offensive lineman, that's an offensive lineman
hmm
answer, right? Run game
yeah,
is
yeah. I knew I love running.
is the key there in terms of
Yep.
blocking technique. And so learning that blocking technique. Favorite football related movie or sports movie? Let's just open it up to sports movie overall.
Well, football will be blindside probably.
Yeah.
I watched it when I first came to America.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's a great one.
Somehow I was like, oh man, I don't know football either. And this kid, like
Yeah.
you can see other people do it, kind of inspirational. But any sport, I like Coach Carter.
Okay.
Other sports movies, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, those are the top two that come to mind right now.
Yeah. For me, Blindside or Remember the Titans is another good
Oh
one.
yeah, remember the Titans? There
That's
you go.
another good
Yeah,
one right there. So that
that's
one for
another good
me
one.
hits different. So
Oh yeah,
and favorite stadium so far that you've played it in your career.
man. CU was pretty beautiful.
Okay.
Crowd wise, we played at Montana State. That was pretty. It was pretty awesome. Wyoming was pretty cool.
Hmm.
Where else?
Any other
The
favorite?
Idaho Dome was not bad.
Oh, QB Dome.
Something
Yeah.
like
Yep.
the dome, but our dome is better at NAU. So
Oh yeah.
make
Yeah.
sure to check it out sometime.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
And And
yeah,
then,
those.
what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received in terms of it could be, and this is open to football related and in life in general. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten in your life?
Piece of advice. I mean, everyone says like to keep working hard and
Yeah.
things would fix themselves. But for me, I saw it like firsthand from my family and stuff.
Yeah.
We came from Civil War, and my parents, like mostly we kind of lost everything. We had to start all over again in a new country, and I saw how hard my dad worked no matter what, and I saw how hard they try to give us the best life and have the safe life. So that would be my motivation,
Okay.
and best advice was just looking up to the people that brought me up and raised me, and
For
just to
sure.
learn whatever I can from them, and just to apply it to my life.
Yeah.
Uh, I,
Yeah.
I work as hard as I can, no matter what it is, and I try. I come every day with a good attitude,
Yeah.
and even if I'm having worst day, the best day, I know that I'm there for work. I know that I'm there. That's the only thing I can control. Me going to practice or going in the weight room and doing whatever it's going to take for me to be the best football player I can. But the rest will take care of themselves. So.
For sure. And I love how you mentioned at the beginning we started talking about how your plan at the end of all this is to take care of your family first and you
Of
second.
course.
Love how you're all about family. I'm the same way, right? I want to make
Yeah,
sure
man.
I can help my parents out for everything that they've given me,
Of
every
course.
opportunity they've given me before I help myself out. So I love that how you mentioned that process. And so
Of
as
course,
we
man.
kind of in the podcast here, we ended this rapid fire segment by asking you kind of what is the best piece of advice that you've received. If you were to be talking to any youth football players or a or say you're talking to somebody who's out of the country that came here that wants to get into football, just
Mm.
like you did, similar to your situation, what piece of advice would you give them, the next generation?
But I guess just be able to listen and be coachable. And none of us know everything. None of us can know everything. We learn something new every day. And just being able to hear someone else and hear their advice, even if you don't completely believe in it or listen to it, you can always get something out of it.
For
So
sure.
just being attentive and just being respectful to everyone and just listening and try your best. It's like a product. You want the best version of yourself to be out there. You wouldn't want to embarrass yourself or your family or you
Mm-hmm.
know. Just like that, when you go to work, you want to do the best, right? When you're editing your videos, you're doing your interview. We all have you're gonna put your whole effort into it. So that's
Yeah.
how it is every day. And if you slack that, someone else is not. So I
Yeah.
would just say try your best to be the best you can be every day. So
For
those
sure.
days will stack up.
That's
Even if you have a bad day, the next day you should fix it. So
yeah.
just don't look back. Just try to better yourself every day, I would say.
I mean, that's great. It's great advice. And, that's something. I know you're a basketball guy. I know Kobe. I don't know. I was
Hmm.
watching Kobe the
Big
other
fan.
day, and Kobe in a speech, like, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 years ago, excuse me,
Hmm.
it said something of like, if you improve every day or better yourself every day, you'll get to where you want to be. And so that's kind of what you said there is great advice,
Yeah, yes, sir.
and great wisdom and knowledge that you would drop on the young generation. And so, but that's all the time we have for this episode
Sounds
of
good, brother.
the Insights podcast. You can follow Krikour. I'll have his social media handles down below,
Sounds good.
in the description as well. And then you can follow our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically anywhere you get podcasts, you can listen to it or watch it on there. So again, Krikour Koustanian, I want to thank you for taking the time out and chopping it up with me about kind of your football career and your journey in football, and kind of how
Awesome,
you
brother.
arrived at where you are today. So, but
Thank you.
next time.